Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن صلوات. It is common knowledge that in order to ascertain the months could be identified with the number of days. And similarly, in order to ascertain years, the years can be identified with the number of months. In the Holy Quran, in Surah At-Tawbah, the numerical value of months are indicated. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us about the number of months. He says there are 12 months with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 12 months. So the numerical number is given. But no month has been mentioned by name except for the blessed month of Ramadan. And not only the blessed month of Ramadan has been mentioned, but an extraordinary event takes place in this holy month. And that is the revelation of the glorious Quran. Now, in the Holy Quran, the Quran is the only divine book on the face of this earth which invites the intelligent people, the human intellect, to ponder over the verses, to ponder over the creation. The only divine book in the face of this earth. Close to 50 verses have been set aside addressing the human intellect. The difference between an animal and a human being, what differentiates them is the intellect. That is why in Islamic logic, Islamic mantiq, the definition of a human being is given as haywanun natiq, an animal who can communicate. And mystics, they give an example of a monkey who is given two options: bananas on one side and gold coins on the other side. And obviously we know the monkey will go for the bananas. Had it that power of discernment, it would have gone for the monetary gold coins. Although the animals are inferior from human beings, they play an important role in the safety and survival of this planet. If today all the insects die, then within 14 months all life on the planet will cease to exist. If all the worms die, suppose today, then within another 2 years, all the life, including the human beings, will cease to exist. So they are an important part in the survival of this planet. And in the glorious Quran, out of 114 chapters, 6 chapters have been set aside for different creatures of the animal kingdom. We have the longest surah in the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow, followed by Surah Al-An'am, the 6th surah. And we have Nahl, the 16th surah, Namal. Nahl means the bee. Namal means the ant. Then we have Al-Ankabut, the 29th surah. And lastly, we have Fil, the elephant, 105th surah. So 6 surahs have been set aside for different creatures of the animal kingdom. 200 verses have also been set aside, describing different anatomies of animals and their benefits. In the Holy Quran, out of all the creatures in the animal kingdom, Allah has singled out the birds. He describes the birds time and again. One of the first Islamic jurisprudential laws, 50 laws, was formulated through a bird. We read in Surah Al-Ma'idah, when Qabil kills Habil alayhi salam. So what happens? Ba'athallahu ghuraban. Allah sent a crow. Qabil didn't know what to do with the body. For so many hours, so many days, he didn't know what to do with the body. So Allah sends a crow. The crow comes and buries its own colleague who had died. فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ غُرَابًا يَبْحَثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. When he saw the crow digging earth, he did the same, dug the grave, and then buries Hazrat Abid alayhi salam. So one of the first laws in Islam was formulated through a crow. That is why most followers of the Abrahamic religion, they bury their dead. We have an example by a 13th century mystical poet and a philosopher, Jalaluddin Rumi. He gives a moral story and involves birds. He said one day a crow meets a parrot, and the parrot starts boasting about its own colors. Then look at my colors. I have a beautiful body, I have beautiful colors on my body. And moreover, I can talk a few words with Ashraf al-Makhluqat, best of Allah's creation. But look at you. Look at you. You are intense black. You don't have anything to offer. So the crow was very demoralized. He was very sad. It flew away from there. And after a few days, it happens that the crow meets the parrot again. But unfortunately, the parrot has been caged by the owner. Someone bought the parrot and caged it. So the crow had all the opportunity now to go and tell the parrot that yes, I agree, God has given you everything, but you are not free. You are living in a prison. Look at me, I don't have anything, but I am free. I can go wherever I want. There are 11,000 different species of bird in this world. 11,000 different species of birds in this world. One of the most laziest of the birds is the flying bat. The flying bat. It sleeps for 22 hours in a day, 22 hours. Now why the flying bat? Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has a whole khutbah in Nahjul Balagha about the flying bats, khafafish, as they are known in Arabic. He admonishes the reader of Nahjul Balagha that if one studies the anatomy of a flying bat, one will come to understand the wisdom of the divine. Look at the characteristic of the flying bat. It comes out at night when night covers everything. It hides in the day when day reveals it. And many more examples can be given. In the olden days, there were armies who used to go on military campaigns. When they went for the military campaigns, they made sure they had enough water for the soldiers. There are reports that armies used to get stuck in the middle of the desert and didn't have water. And one such example is mentioned in the Holy Quran, and it is that of one of the greatest prophets who walked on this earth, Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. He got stuck with thousands of soldiers and didn't know what to do. The water had dried up. The soldiers were thirsty. The animals within the horses became thirsty. And the urgency of the situation demanded that Sulaiman alayhi salam did something. So he summons his water minister. There was a special water minister who was an important personality. He summons him. They read in the Quran, in Surah Al-Naml, فَتَفَقَّدَ طَيْرًا. This minister was not a human being but a bird. A bird. Sulaiman alayhi salam starts inspecting the birds. فَتَفَقَّدَ الطَّيْرًا فَقَالَ مَا لِي لَا أَرَى هُدْهُدْ. Why is that I don't see هُدْهُدْ? أَمْ كَانَ مِنَ الْغَائِبِينَ. Has it disappeared? فَمَقَتَ بَيْنَ بَعِيدًا. Within no time, Hudhud appears. So one can understand the importance of a creature like bird, whereby the whole army of Sulaiman is stranded. What was the bird's mission? What was its purpose and role? It used to show Sulaiman alayhi salam where the water bed was within seconds. It would go in a certain direction and people would follow it, dig, and they would get water. Even today in the Gulf countries, falcons are trained in such a way that they can look for animals within no distance and tell the owner. They would fly and the owner would follow. They would find animals in the desert. So this is the importance of animals on this planet. Now, what is that creation of the animals? Close to 31 animals are mentioned in the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then tells us to take some time and look up towards the heaven. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to look up the heaven. And He wants us to observe a phenomenal event. وَالطَّيْرُ صَافَاتٍ أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى السَّمَاوَاتِ يُسَبِّحُونَ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّهِمْ وَالطَّيْرُ صَافَاتٍ كُلٌّ قَدْ عَلِمَ صَلَاتَهُ وَتَسْبِيحَهُ. The birds that you see are كُلٌّ قَدْ عَلِمَ صَلَاتَهُ. They have an obligation towards prayers. They pray. كُلٌّ قَدْ عَلِمَ صَلَاتَهُ وَتَسْبِيحَهُ. And they glorify God. There are others, even this is a Quranic ayah, they may object, but Allah answers them in Surah Bani Israel. وَلَكِنْ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُم. You won't be able to perceive. Allama Tabatabai on this verse says this is a wake-up call for the believers who take prayers lightly. And when Imam Ali alayhi salam was asked as to how is it possible that birds would pray, they perform salah, so he gives an answer. Siyah or dik, salatahu. Siyah is a scream. Dik is a rooster hen early in the morning. The rooster screams. Imam Ali says, Siyah or dik, salatahu. The rooster who screams That is its salah. وَضَرْبِ جَنَاحِهِ, and the flapping of its wings, رُكُوعًا وَسُجُودًا, it's ruku and sujood of the rooster. We have some amazing birds which have perplexed the scientists. The scientists are confused with their existence. There's a special bird weighing 500 grams called bar-tailed godwit. It flies from Alaska to New Zealand, a journey of 11,500 kilometers. It takes it 9 days and 9 nights, which means sunsets, sunrises, sunsets, sunrises, which means there's turbulence up there. It takes off early in the morning, and by night it has already taken the jet stream current. Now what is the jet stream current? At 20,000 feet, the bird reaches the jet stream current, where the most sophisticated airlines take the jet stream current. Why? Because of the air force of the air. Air travels at 110 miles per hour in the jet stream current. With that, the aircraft needs to use less energy and they reach faster, less fuel is needed if you travel on the jet stream current at 30,000 feet. So the bird is high there, and the temperatures at that level are minus 59 degrees centigrade. So if you put that bird, bar-tailed godwit, in the refrigerator at our place, in home, the refrigerator average temperature is minus 18 degrees centigrade. It would be alive the next day, provided you make a provision of oxygen. So the scientists now study as to how it could survive. They found out it has got two sides of a brain. One side sleeps, one is awake. One side sleeps and one is awake. That is how it undertakes the journey. But they are baffled as to where it gets its energy. Where it gets its energy from. Doesn't drink, doesn't eat for 9 days and 9 nights. And the research is still going on that bird. When it reaches New Zealand, it lands exactly, its body language is like a Boeing landing, 1,000 feet per hour. It lands exactly near a lake in New Zealand. First thing is it starts washing it, having water, then it takes water, and after 30 minutes she starts screaming. And within no distance, all her colleagues join to celebrate her arrival. So this is something unique about the animal kingdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran tells us to observe, look at the camel. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Don't you see at the camel? Ibil means a group of animals. In Arabic, there are close to 40 names for a camel. There's Jamal, there's Ba'ir. Ba'ir also means a group of animals. We have Naqa, Naqatullah of Nabi Salih alayhi salam, a she camel. And also a she camel. So Allah says, observe the camel. Many unique features a camel has. One of the features is, we all have a single eyelid, isn't it? We all have a single eyelid. How many eyelids does a camel have? Anyone? Camel has how many eyelids? Yes. Camel has 3 eyelids. Why? Because one of them is transparent. One of them is transparent. It allows it on its journey in the desert, whereby there are dust and sand particles. If you were supposed to go in the desert, I'm sure our fingers would always be on our eyes. Dust and sand particles would really bother us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given it 3 eyelids. So these are some of the things which were discovered only recently. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning all these animals, study the anatomy. When it mentions the camel, it doesn't mean that you have to look at the camel. You have to look at all the animals. There's a law in Mantiq, ذكر البعض إرادة الكل. When Allah mentions something, a few things, then He means all the way. Like if He mentions Ya ayyuhan nas, doesn't mean the male follows. It also means the male female follows. Likewise, one has to study, one has to ponder, one has to reflect over His creation. So look at something, a simple commodity like water. أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَاءَ الَّذِي تَشْرَبُونَ. Have you not wondered or reflected on the water that you drink? لَوْ نَشَاءُ جَعَلْنَاهُ أُجَاجًا فَلَوْلَا تَشْكُرُونَ. It's in Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Had we made it salty, had we made water salty, yet you would have not appreciated. There would be desolation plants all over the world, but you would not have appreciated. Allah said, and Allah is right. Why? Doctor is here. He will tell us, somebody has got respiratory problems in the hospital. He gets a bill. There's one entry, is this much liters of oxygen. This much liters of oxygen. You have to go pay, and the patient goes and pays dollars and whatever. But imagine, he didn't ask him, say, all these days I'm having oxygen free of charge. I don't get a bill from up there. And suddenly I get a bill from the hospital, oxygen. So simple things like that, one has to appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remind us of God. In ta'uddu ni'matullahi la tuhsuha. If you go to count my ni'mah, it won't fit in the calculator. You won't be able to count. So this is reflection, pondering. Pondering and reflection in Arabic means tafakkur. When one does tafakkur, it becomes ibadah. The Holy Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, has said, At-tafakkur sa'a, 1 hour of tafakkur, afdalu min ibadati sana, is better than 1 year of worship. 1 year of worship. Now tafakkur and tadabbur. Tafakkur is to reflect on the creation of the divine, what He has created around us. Be it on this land, sea, universe, cosmology, anything. And tadabbur is to reflect on the Holy Quran. Both tafakkur and tadabbur are both sides, two sides of the same coin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also emphasizes tadabbur in the Holy Quran. In Surah Sad, He informs us, Kitabun anzalnahu ilayka. We have revealed the book. Kitabun anzalnahu ilayka mubarak. لِيَدَبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ. We have sent you a book which is full of barakah, so that you may ponder over it. So in other words, He's given us the purpose of revelation. And we find in history that the grandson of the Holy Prophet requests the enemies of Islam to give them only one night more, so that they may recite the Quran and ponder over it. And when the permission is given, the next day, on the day of Ashura, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam addresses the enemies and reminds them, Ayyuhan nas, ansibuni man'ana. O people, try to ponder over my ancestors. Don't you know who I am? Alastu ibni binti nabiyukum, am I not the son of the daughter of your prophet? Lima taqtulunani. Why do you want to shed my blood? Am ala shariatin gayyartuha. Is that I have changed the sharia? Am ala dima'in faqattuha. Is that I have spilled somebody's blood? And if you want to spill my blood, then what has this 6-month-old baby done wrong to you that you want to kill it? السلام على الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة